Slapshot Podcast, episode number 80. I'm your host, Christopher Morais. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Welcome into 2025, the first podcast of the year. I hope you had a safe holidays. I wish you a happy new year. May your 2025 be blessed with health, happiness, and a Leafs early first round exit again. I know. Okay. We're not gonna start that way. We're not gonna start that way, right? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna wait before I start chirping Leaf fans. All right. So yeah, welcome in. Thank you for being here. If you are new here, I appreciate you. Go ahead. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the sub button, ring the bell. I appreciate that a ton. If you are listening to this somewhere on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, or wherever you enjoy it, just thank you. Thank you. Go ahead. Give yourselves a round of applause. There you go. So we got a ton of things to go through today, 2025, because I wasn't here last week because I was busy. I went to go see my mom. I went to go hang out with my mom. So we've come back. Now we're ready to kick in to what's going on in the new year. Jam-packed things to talk about. We got a lot of things to do. Then we're going to talk about the obvious in the room, which is Team Canada at the World Juniors. I know it happened a couple days ago. It gave me the opportunity to kind of like come back down to earth a little bit because that was tough. That was definitely tough. We're going to play the first episode of Puckdoku for 2025. Let's hope I can make it happen here. Okay. But first, we're going to start off with the news. All right. Let's start off with a couple of things that we may have missed since the last time here. Cole Caulfield now has 21 goals on the year. He's now on pace for, I think it's 43 goals. Yeah. 43 goals out of, like it's coming for Cole Caulfield. I don't know if he's going to hit 40, but he is cooking. The man is cooking. So good for him. Bad news here a little bit. We're not going to dog call the Rangers to start the year, but Igor Shesterkin was placed on IR. He's got an upper body injury. The New York Rangers sit last in the Metropolitan Division. And if you had the Montreal Canadiens with more points than the New York Rangers at any point this year, you may collect your $1 billion prize. Because I most certainly didn't have that on the bingo card. But, I mean, here we are, right? That is what it is. Sticking with the Montreal Canadiens a little bit here. Our boy Lane Hutson, Rookie of the Month for December. I mean, man's elite. I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. We've already talked about this multiple times. There's probably still time to get him to win Rookie of the Year. You might not be getting the best value today, but I'm sure if you look somewhere, you will find it. I'm just saying. He also picked up another assist against Colorado Saturday. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how many times I got to say this. I don't know how many times I got to keep reiterating it. Homie's elite. And he's only going to get better. The Winter Classic, that thing happened again. Not on January 1st, which may have shocked a lot of you. Happened on December 31st. It was the first time that under 1 million people watched the NHL Winter Classic. And to me, that's not really surprising because you just kind of like slip that in on a 31st, on a schedule. Like there were a lot of teams playing. You slipped it in at like 5:00, and I'm not surprised. There was a game on January 1st. You may have thought that it was the Devils and Kings in the Winter Classic. That was not it. That was just a regular scheduled game. Can we also talk about maybe we're done putting the Chicago Blackhawks in Winter Classics? Like, I get why they're there, right? There's a lot of great venues in Chicago. The marketability of Connor Bedard is good, but man, the quality of that game was just not it. So, yeah. People are always like, oh, what would you change? I don't know. Like, can we have some new teams be part of it? Something a little bit different. Just throwing out ideas here. Just throwing out ideas. Now there's talks about them wanting to do like a Winter Classic in like Florida or something, which I don't know how you produce any ice in Florida, but just no more Chicago Blackhawks in the Winter Classic. We've been there, we've done that. I don't think they've won one either. So we don't have to keep giving bad teams prime time slots. We can just, you know what I mean? Don't do that. There's no point. Mackenzie Blackwood signed a 5-year deal with the Colorado Avalanche, $5.25 million. He came over from San Jose, and Colorado saw him play like 3-4 games. They're like, here's a contract, buddy. Stick around. That's how poor their goaltending was before. I don't know how that's going to go. I want somebody in life to trust me as much as Colorado's front office trusts Mackenzie Blackwood after such a short period of time. He has been very good since coming to Colorado. I will give him that. Now the question is can he maintain it and can he stay healthy? He was good against Montreal again. He was very good. He is played a lot better than I expected him to play. So congratulations to him and his deal. Congratulations as well, Jakub Dobes. Montreal Canadiens called him up prior to the game against the Florida Panther. They sent Caden Primo down to Laval. And Dobes has been nothing but elite since he's been here. He shut out the Florida Panthers. He was amazing against Colorado. He has now allowed a total of 1 goal in 2 starts, both wins. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself here, okay? It's a little early. Small sample size, I get it. But Dobes being this good to start, I bet you the Montreal Canadiens front office is just kicking themselves for like, why didn't we do this earlier? Right? Also, Dobes is up here to play. Okay? He's not warming the bench. He's up here to play, which is fine, by the way. I'm not going to take anything away from Samuel Montembeault, okay? Not a single thing. Because, like, he has played a lot of hockey. I think he's played the second most minutes, okay? Homie's done his part for this team. He's done a large part. And for stretches, he's been really good. I don't even chalk up the loss against the Blackhawks to him. Like, the team just didn't play well. Montreal Canadiens, by the way, like, I saw this on Twitter, right? Shout out to Michael Clifford for pointing this out. Montreal Canadiens went 4-2 on their road trip, right? On their road trip. The 2 losses were against the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Chicago Blackhawks. Exactly as we all predicted, right? They beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. They beat the Florida Panthers. They beat the Vegas Golden Knights. And they beat the Colorado Avalanche. Again, just as we all expected, right? So, Dobes comes up here. He's really, like, he's feeling it, man. I would let him start Saturday's game at home at the Bell Center. He has earned that opportunity. This has nothing to do with Sam Montembeault. Montembeault should probably get majority of the starts, right? As long as he can elevate his game and play, right? Dobes didn't come up from the AHL to sit on the bench, and he shouldn't. I also don't want Samuel Montembeault playing 10 games in a row and on back-to-back nights. I know that, like, you can, but it's probably not best for goalies anymore. So, give him the start on Monday. He has earned it. And then regardless of that outcome, you go back to Montembeault the next game. That's it. Let him get the start in front of the fans. Let him feel that vibe. He has earned it. And maybe we see a 50-50 split down the stretch. And again, let's not anything on Montembeault. He's played a lot of hockey. He's been really good. The Montreal Canadiens are in a position, they are in a wild card hunt. And a lot of that is because of Samuel Montembeault. When Caden Primo couldn't stop a beach ball, Montembeault was there to do his part. So, yeah. Shout out to Dobes, man. My man. All right, that's the news. Let's go to what we all want to see here, okay? Let's go to the. I know. I know. It's that time of year again. Puckdoku. I believe the last time we got off, like we finished on a high. I know it might have been a minute, but we finished on a high. I'm missing one here. Okay, there we go. But I'm excited about. Let's see if I can get this to. Let's see if we can close this out here. You know what I mean? Oh, all right. So if you don't know how Puckdoku works, easy. I got to find a player that matches both of these things. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah. Some good teams here. 2+ teams played in a season. Does that mean I got to find a player who played for like 2 teams in the same season? Is that what I mean? Like a player traded during the year? I think that's what it means. All right, let's get cooking. Let's get cooking. I want to start off here in Minnesota. And what's the name of that kid that was traded? Is it David Jarrett? He played one game for Minnesota, did he? Okay. That was not a good start. That was not a good start. All right. Well, I know this one. How do you spell Dezingle? He played one game. He didn't. I thought he did. Okay. That's my bad. It's my bad. This was not a good start, chat. This was not a good start. That's an L. 2 players to play for the Carolina Hurricanes. What about Pittsburgh? This one is easy. I'm thinking of Marian Hossa. Yeah. In that trade when he came over from, I think it was Detroit? No, or was it Chicago? Chicago to Pittsburgh. I remember I was sitting in high school and somebody told me Pittsburgh. I was like, where did Pittsburgh come out of this? Where did they just shoot out of a cannon from? All right. Player that was traded mid-year. I could have put Ryan. I know Ryan Dzingel played there. I don't remember. I'm trying to think of some Carolina teams here. Who's been traded mid-season? Maybe from Carolina to somewhere else? Oh, man, was Eric Cole? I don't remember if he was traded. Yes, Eric Cole. I'm thinking about when he went to Montreal. I don't know if that's what it is here. That's it. Look at these scores, by the way. 2%, 1%, 5%. What a wasted opportunity on my behalf right now. Player who has played for Minnesota and Carolina. Minnesota and Pittsburgh as well. The problem with the Minnesota Wilds, they haven't been around for a million years. I'm really confused now about like Minnesota and Columbus. Oh man, I'm a little tilted, not gonna lie. I was convinced that that kid that they traded for had already played at least like had made his debut for the Wild. But apparently he didn't. Okay. I got to think of a player who has played in New Jersey and Columbus. These, you see, the newer teams are harder because they don't have like a rich history. You know what I mean? I don't want to cheat either. I can't start the new year off cheating. Can I? No, I can't. Pittsburgh and Minnesota. Oh man, I'm trying to go back. You know what I mean? Like way back. Did Paul Martin play for both these teams? Paul Martin, what a name. He did. Oh my god. I'm literally cooking. But I got one wrong. My god, what a good one that was. Carolina. Justin Williams came to mind, but I don't think he didn't play in he didn't play there. Also, another guy that came to mind just right now. I'm just sharing my thoughts with you. Okay. Antoine Vermette. I know, like I don't think he played in. I don't think he played in Minnesota. I don't also think I don't think he played in Detroit either. What if we just put some? What if we just put some letters in here? Patrick O'Sullivan. I don't remember. I don't remember enough about O'Sullivan to like Jeff O'Neill. I don't remember where Jeff. Oh my god, Brooks Orpik. He probably would have fit the Pittsburgh one as well. Steve Ott, TJ Oshie. Let's try a different one. Let's try C. Did Mike Commodore play in New Jersey at any point? He did. He did. I'm pretty sure he also played in Carolina. Pretty sure he did as well. Wow, this is a good board, and I wasted it. It seems to be working. Let's try R. Yarko Rutu, Tiamo Rutu, those are good. Michael Ryder, no. My God, Mike Ribeiro, Craig Rive. What a bunch of great names. I need to find some players who played in Minnesota. I was thinking of Zuccarello, but he played with the Rangers. I don't know where he played before that. We got 3 shots left. I feel like this has been a struggle. no matter what. Do we just take the L here? I'm going to take the L here. Didn't happen. I'm going to take the L. Oh, man. Oh. How could I not have thought of Marc-Andre Fleury? Brent Burns, Marian Gaborik. This was an easy board. I forgot that Marian Gaborik played in Columbus. Dougie Hamilton, yes. Jaromir Jagr has played everywhere. Wow. Not good. Not good on my behalf here. This was not good. That's a tough way to start 2025, though. Not going to lie. This was an easily doable board. Yeah. Easily doable. And I didn't get there. Yeah, that's an L on my part. My bad. All right. Well, I feel like this is, I guess, is a good segue into a literal L, which is we're going to talk about Team Canada. Okay. Now, I know, again, I took the opportunity here to kind of let everything settle because I went through a wild amount of emotions with that Team Canada game. I just want you guys to be aware. I went through a lot here. So, if in case you don't follow Canadian hockey or Canadian World Junior Hockey, right, which is fine, you don't have to. Canada got eliminated in the quarterfinals for the second time in as many years by the same team, which was Czechia. Now, we have to find somebody to blame. Okay, somebody's heads has to roll because this is Canada. Okay, you cannot have back-to-back years like that and just like it's unacceptable. Okay, it's unacceptable. It's not okay. Something's got to change. And I just want you to know I have found whose head is rolling. I've found it, and maybe we can agree to disagree, right? We could agree to disagree. You can tell me whose head you would roll in the comment section on YouTube, or you can tweet it at me if you want at FuzzyChris91, or tweet the podcast at Slapshot Podcast. You can do either one, preferably the comment section of YouTube. So here's just a couple of things. I just want to preface a couple of things, okay? Before we start laying some blame, okay? One was the exceptional play of Carter George, LA Kings draft pick. Okay, Carter George finished the tournament with a 176 goals against average, a 936 save percentage, 2 shutouts, and he allowed 2 even strength goals the whole tournament. They came in the quarterfinal game, by the way. And somehow this team was eliminated in the quarterfinals. This showing by Carter George was one of the best I've seen. I think he had a Carey Price-like World Juniors. And Carey Price is a future Hall of Famer. Okay? In previous years, we've seen that Canada's had a really good roster, but their goaltending has been iffy, not sure. This was not the case this year. Carter George was him. I feel bad for him the most. Now, the good news is he can return to this tournament next year. That's the good news. Because he's going to want a shot at redemption here. He was nothing short of brilliant. Okay, that's the first part. The second part here is Team Canada had 13 different goal scores. They scored 13 goals in the tournament. 13 players scored them on 205 shots. That is a 634 shooting percentage as a team. Not a single player scored 2 goals in that tournament. Now, it's nice to get contributions from everybody in the lineup. Okay, it's good. Every team needs as a coach. If I'm Dave Cameron, you still need a guy on the bench that you can look down to and say, hey, this guy can go get us a goal. And in that tournament, none of that happened. None of it. This Canada team was not put together correctly, right? We knew from the moment that team was selected that it was not, there were so many elite, high-end, talented goal-scoring players that were left off this lineup. And we knew this. And we questioned, when you saw this team be put together, a lot of people questioned whether they would be good enough. And you can build a team however you want, right? And if you have success, then you were right. But in this case, there was no success, right? So what you built was not good. Canada built a team that was not focused on skill, but was focused on being tough and physical. Okay? Also, I'm going to share this with you just in case you were confused. This is courtesy of the good folks over at Bar Down. Okay? Canada led the tournament in penalty minutes. They had 113 penalty minutes, averaging 22 minutes per game. It was very well documented, especially against the United States. They gave up 3 power play goals on 7 chances to the USA. You cannot take 113 penalty minutes and expect good things to happen, right? Like, can we be? And to me, what this says, right? It is exceptionally hard to take a penalty when the puck is on your stick. It's really hard. Now, we're not going to get into the double IHF and their officiating because we're not new here, okay? The double IHF has the worst officials in any sport on the planet, okay? But we know this. And the good news here is they are consistent. They're consistently bad. You know this. When you go to these tournaments, these games are going to be called differently. In that quarterfinal game, we saw 3 hits, right? You know, the ones like the kneeing ones. Canada was unlucky in one of them because their guy gets a 5 in a game misconduct, right? The second one that the Czech player did, that's just a 2-minute. The one at the end as well is a 2-minute. It's 3 times the same type of hit, and only one player got ejected. But they're consistent. They called it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They called it. And Canada's lack of discipline is just unacceptable. That is a coaching thing. That is a Dave Cameron thing. You have to make sure your team gets it. Now, there's only so much Dave Cameron can do here, okay? Because he was given this roster, and it wasn't very good. Here's the thing, right? If I cover a turd in chocolate, it's still a turd, right? There's only so much you can do with players who... Now, I'm not going to blame a single player on this team. Not a single one. These are kids, okay? They were asked to do the impossible. And they obviously couldn't do it. So I'm not blaming it, and you shouldn't either. Do not blame the kids. Okay? The head that's rolling here is not even Dave Cameron's. I'm not going to blame him. I know maybe there are questionable decisions that he may have made, right? Like Canada didn't practice a lot after their game at Latvia. And his excuse was the players were exhausted. And I'm like, buddy, exhausted from what? What? This team needed to practice. As a famous man once said, we're talking about practice? This team probably needed to practice, especially when they were playing the way that they did. But Also, exhausted is quite the term because this tournament was in Canada. Some teams had to fly across the ocean to get here, and they still practice. So again, and the usage of certain players, even the guys who had a ton of skill didn't get a ton of look. I'm also I'm not going to blame Easton Cowan as well. And I think that as much as I don't like the Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm not going to put all this on Easton Cowan. The homie did as much as he could with what was around him. Easton Cowan is probably a third-line guy on a tournament like this, and he was asked to play top-line minutes and contribute in a big way. And maybe he's just not that player yet. Maybe he'll never become that player, but maybe he's just not that player yet. All right? There are things that Dave Cameron could have done differently. Yes. Did he do them? No. Is it his fault? He takes a little bit of blame. He's not getting off here scot-free, though. Okay? He's not getting off scot-free. To me, the heads that need to roll and who's to blame is any individual who had who helped select the players for this team. So, upper management, the scouting staff, because then, there was that end of the year, that kind of end of tournament press conference, and I don't know the names of these guys, and I could care less of what they are, but nobody took accountability really. They asked Dave Cameron if he had any regrets. No, which is fine. But then you ask some of the scouts, they're like, well, we thought that we picked the best team, and we would do it again, and I wouldn't change anything. Buddy, grab a box, put your stuff in it, and get out of here. If you look at this performance and think that you would run it back and and it would be better, you are insane. Because the definition of insanity is repeating an action over and over again, expecting a different result. If you were a scout, okay, you're gone. The selection committee of this team, everybody take their stuff, get out of the building. Lock the doors. Revoke your pass. Do not pass go. Do not collect your $200. Okay? It's that to me, those people, if you helped assemble this team, you picked players and put them on this team and said, this is what we want, you're gone. This team lacked skill, and everybody knew that, with the exception of the people who put the team together. Those individuals thought they built something, which is fine. If that's what you believe, okay. But now you didn't have the results, so you get canned. That's as simple as that. I do not want those scouts who looked at all those other talented players and went, nah, not on this team. No. I don't want you scouting anything. You clearly do not know what you're doing. Get out. Go away. This team lacked skill. You can't take penalties when the puck is on your stick. It's extremely hard, though. Okay? Which means Canada took a lot of penalties. And again, these are kids, man. This is a 19-year-old tournament. These are kids. And there are judgment decisions are what they are. I don't remember that kid's name, but that late penalty in the third, that's a hit you probably don't have to throw. Right? Because you've seen it be called twice before. So, maybe just guide the Czech player into the corner, keep him to the outside. You've dominated the whole third period. You've come back. You've done your job. Go to overtime and try from there. Because Canada had a piss poor start to their game. It was necessary for them to come out strong. Not only did they not do that, they gave up a goal the first minute. They put one in their own net because that's what they do. They scored shorthanded, and then they gave up a goal late in the period. So it was a terrible start, but they battled back, and they got to where they needed to be. And then, again, it's a poor decision, but these are kids. They're going to make poor decisions. You know what I love about the World Juniors? I love watching these kids just go out there with an enormous amount of skill. These guys are toe dragging backhanders. And they're coming into the blue line. They're not chipping the puck in and chasing it. That's not the strategy here. They're trying to dangle you at the blue line. All right. There's elite skill. They're also their like lack of care for defense. Like they're out there to score goals. And then the emotion, the taunting, all that stuff. That's what makes this tournament great. Yeah, there's skill in the NHL, for sure. That's a lot of dump and chase. Go get it. Play the right structure. You can teach players to play a system and how you want it to be played and to function within it. All these players have a system in their junior clubs, right? Or wherever they play. But you know what you can't teach? Raw skill, right? I can teach Connor Bedard how to be defensively responsible, but I can't teach what he does with the puck. The shooting, the scoring, the deception. I can't teach that. That's skill. And that's what Canada didn't have. And they looked like it. They looked like a team that was out there to kind of like play physical, grind you down, try to intimidate your opponent. All they did was take a bunch of penalties and be unable to score goals. So to me, who am I blaming? Simple. We're going to go down the list, right? Let me pull out there we go. We're going to go down the list. And if I see your name here, I'm going to ask you, be like, hey, did you help select the players for this team? Right? There'll be a little box. Yes or no. If yes, check it off, and we revoke your access to the building. We kick you out. Now, let this be a lesson as well, because the Four Nations Cup is coming up for Canada as well. Skill. This World Juniors team next year needs skill. That's what they need. When you have players that were high picks, who have skill, who could change the course of a game in one shift, when you have those type of individuals and you don't bring them to these tournaments, I don't know, man. You're asking to get fired. You're asking to get fired. That's who I'm rolling. That's the head that's rolling here. But I'm not going to blame the players. I can't. You can't. And do not be the person who DMs a player and says something mean to them, okay? Don't. It's not their fault. They did the best that they could. It is tough to represent Canada. There's nothing more they could have done. Could they have played better? Sure. But that's hockey. The same thing for Dave Cameron. Are there probably things that he wants to do a little bit different? Maybe. But he did the most that he could with the roster. And the players did the most that they could with the skill set that they had. Management did not build this team to win. So they started way behind the eight ball, and they couldn't recover. All right? I do want to see some people get fired. I know they won't, because it's an old man's club and there's dinosaur scouts and everything, and they know the way of the game and blah, 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 blah. But this team needed more skill. So if you're in management, you help pick the team, take your bags, get out of here. Go home. You'll be able to spend Christmas at home with your family next year. You will. Maybe they did this year because it was in Canada. Next year it's in the United States. I think it's in Minnesota. Maybe. Minnesota's basically Canada. Basically. So yeah. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the podcast for this week. As always, okay, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the support in 2024. Like, it hits different for me every time I see how much you guys enjoy this. Because I'm just a dude. Literally, I'm just sometimes yelling at my screen here. But I appreciate all of you for listening, the support on whatever platform you enjoy. Like I said, if you are on the YouTube here, I appreciate you coming here, coming back. Hit the sub button, ring the bell. Again, drop your comment below. Whose head are you rolling? Tell me who you're firing. If you're listening to this on the Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, I appreciate you a bunch. Thank you for taking me with you to on your morning drive or in the shower or wherever you listen to the podcast. Thank you. Again, you can follow me on X, at FuzzyChris91. Follow the podcast on X as well at Slapshot Podcast. Okay. I appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you so much. We will talk to each other again soon.